Hi students, in this class I am going to deal about generation of PWM signals using timers. One of the interesting topic. Here we see what is the use of PWM signals and how to generate PWM signals using timers. First I want to say few applications related to PWM signals. PWM signals are generally used in industries in order to control the motor speed. You can control motor speed with the help of PWM signals, and you can vary brightness of LEDs using PWM signals and many more. Aside one application, we can control the speed of the motor using PWM signals. Generally, to increase or decrease the speed of the motor, we should vary the voltage level at the input pins of the motor. The voltage is high means the speed of the motor will be high. The voltage applied at the input is low means the speed of the motor will be low. But the question is that by using PWM signals, how the voltage is varied at the input pins of the motor. Let us see how this happens in this class. I want to explain the use of PWM signals with the help of one of the project done by me. Actually, this is a water hyacinth removing machine. See, in order to move this machine forward and backward, I am using two drone motors here. And see, by controlling the speed of these two drone motors, I can make this machine to move forward or to move left or right. See here, the machine is moving forward as I stopped one motor and I am controlling the speed of one motor here. As I am increasing the speed, it is turning left and moving. Here observe one thing, what I am doing. By wireless communication, I am sending a signal to generate a PWM signal which varies the speed of my motor. Understand? Here internally in microcontroller, I am generating some PWM signals to vary the speed of the motor. In this way, we can use PWM signals in real-time applications to vary speed of the motors. That is in order to increase the speed or decrease the speed of the motor. And here we will see how pulse width modulation works. First, the pulse width modulation signal is a method for generating analog signal using digital source. Actual PWM signals are digital signals. With the help of these digital signals, we can generate an analog signal or analog source. We see later how we generate the analog signal. Then the next point is that a PWM signal consists of two main components that defines its behavior. First one is the duty cycle and next one is the frequency. Then what is duty cycle? The fraction of the time while the output is active is called duty cycle. Duty cycle means it is a fraction of time while the output is active. At what time the output is active, the output is in on state, it is called as a duty cycle. And see the next point. The duty cycle is always varied by keeping the period constant. The time period is always constant. What will vary? Only the duty cycle varies. That means only the on time and off time will vary. And changing the width of the pulses. Changing the width of the pulses means changing the on time and off time. Hence the name is called as a pulse width modulation. As you are changing the width of the pulse, it is called as a pulse width modulation. You are changing the width of the pulse. And here we see how to generate PWM signals using timer output modes. Consider this is the timer up mode, and the output modes used here are set or reset mode and reset or set mode. And coming here, 60, the value 60 is stored in TACC R1 and value 100 is stored in TACC R0. And see here, in set or reset mode, initially the signal will be in the reset state and it will set when it reaches TACC R1. Again it will reset when it reaches the value 100 which is present in TACC R0. See, in set or reset mode, the signal is in reset state for 60% of time and it is in set state for 40% of time. What is duty cycle? Duty cycle is fraction of time the output is active. What is a fraction of time the output is active? Here the output is active for 40% of time. Here duty cycle is 40%. See, in set or reset mode, set or reset output mode, the duty cycle is 40%. And coming to reset or set mode, here 60% of time the signal is in on state. 40% of time the signal is in off state. Therefore, here the duty cycle is 60% because the signal is on for 60% amount of time. And coming here, CC-IFZ0 and CC-IFZ1. CC-IFZ indicates capture or compare interrupt flag. This flag set when the value in TACC R0 reaches. What is the value in TACC R0? 100. It is reached here. So, CC-IFZ0 is set when maximum value in TACC R0 reaches. That is 100. So, here the flag is affected. The interrupt flag is set here. And when CC-IFZ1 will set, it will set when highest value in TACC R1 reaches. That is 60. It is reached here. It will set here. So, CC-IFZ1 is set when 60. That is the maximum value of TACC R1 reaches. And so on. See here. These formulas indicates how to calculate the frequency of output waveform and how to calculate the duty cycle of the waveform and how to calculate the average voltage across the output. What is your output waveform here? PWM waveform. Therefore, the frequency of pulse width modulated signal you are getting is equal to F timer clock by period of TAR in counts. See here F timer clock is the clock coming to the counter. That is the frequency of the clock that is given to the 16-bit counter by period of TAR. That is the maximum count that we loaded in the TAR, TACC R0. What is that? 99 plus 0 is also count now. 99 plus 1, total 100. Therefore, the PWM frequency is equal to F timer clock by TACC R0 plus 1. That is equal to 100 here. And the duty cycle is given by, duty cycle means the fraction of time the output is active is called as a duty cycle. Here duty cycle is equal to pulse width, maximum pulse width by period. See here pulse width means the amount of time the pulse is active or in on state. That is the value that is present in TACC R1. For example, 60 is the value present in TACC R1. then 60 by maximum value 100. 60 by 100 is 60%. 60% is your duty cycle. Otherwise, if it is active for 40 counts and total counts are 100, then 40 by 100 is 40%. 40% is your duty cycle. In this way, you can calculate your duty cycle. This is the one we need. The average voltage across the output. The average voltage across the output, V average, is given by duty cycle into VCC, the maximum amplitude of the signal. That is equal to, what is duty cycle? On time by on time plus off time. It is a duty cycle into VCC, the maximum amplitude. That is equal to, here pulse width by period into VCC. Here pulse width indicates the amount of time the signal is active. That is, it is in on state. Remember that one. Into VCC. Here VCC is the amplitude of your pulsating signal. This gives your average voltage that will appear on the output pin. See this example. You will be clear. What is the example here? To create a 3 volt signal, given a digital source that can be either high on at 5 volts and low off at 0 volt. That means you are having a pulsating signal which amplitude is 5 volts and when it is low, it is 0 volt. That is, your pulsating signal is varying between 0 volts to 5 volts. Then what is the question? He wants to create 3 volt signal from this 5 volt signal using PWM. Then what amount of duty cycle we need? See here, if we use a duty cycle of 60%, which outputs 5 volts 60% of time. That means if the signal is on for 60% of time and off for 40% of time, then duty cycle is 60%. Then the average voltage can be calculated by taking the digital high voltage multiplied by duty cycle. That is 5 volts into, what is the duty cycle? 60%. That is 60 by 100, 0.6. 5 into 0.6, that is equal to 3 volts. It's clear now? So, in order to create a 3 volt signal from a 5 volts pulsating signal, we need 60% duty cycle. I hope that you understand how to generate varying voltage levels using PWM signals. Thank you.